Hi everybody, Egg here. I am at the junction of Pattaya Road and Jomtien Second Road. I remember back in the old days when I first used to come to Thailand in the 90s, you could just drive. There wasn't a second road here, and you just drive here and then go automatically round to the right. There was no way to go. You didn't even have to indicate. There was no traffic coming at you. But now, Jomtien Second Road is very well developed. You've got loads and loads of condos, residences, and it has to be said, a huge proliferation of 7-Elevens. In fact, there's so many 7-Elevens now along here for about a mile or so. They call it 7th Street. And I remember when I first came to Thailand, 7-Eleven was around. It was actually introduced in 1989, but Family Mart had just as many stores as 7. Family Mart disappeared about 4 or 5 years ago. They pulled out of Thailand. Some of the stores were turned into Tops. A lot of them closed. And now 7 has just taken over Thailand. I thought I would have a walk along 7th Street here and give you 7 interesting facts about 7-Eleven. I've literally just walked like 1 minute and we're at, guess what, another 7-Eleven, right, here on 7th Street. So the first fact about 7-Elevens, and don't hate me, I know this one seems obvious, right, but when I first came to Thailand, I didn't know this, and there might be a lot of people that have never been, outside their own country, so they don't know this. 7-Elevens are open 24 hours a day. Yeah, I know you was going to say that. I thought, first time I came, I couldn't understand why they were called 7-Eleven and they were open 24 hours, but it's because I'd never been to America where 7-Eleven started. They're very big in Japan. I'd never been there. So anyway, so they're open 24 hours a day, but alcohol sales are only permitted from 11 o'clock now until midnight. Now, I filmed inside, and as you can see, the shutters on the alcohol in the fridges say, in English and in Thai, that it's open from 11 till 2 and 5 till midnight. But that has now changed because of recent laws, and now 7-Elevens can serve alcohol between 11 a.m. and midnight. So where's the next 7-Eleven? Well, there's a sign for a 7-Eleven there, but hold on, there's one over there. These have got to be the 2 closest together 7-Elevens in history. And I did think, what did this first shop here on the left do to upset 7-Eleven HQ? So the first 7-Eleven and the older out of the 2 is here. And then the second one is literally next door. 7-Elevens opened in Thailand for the first time in 1989. They're owned by the massive CP corporation here in Thailand. They own a lot of retail. They obviously own this True company, which has both broadcasting and also telecommunications here in Thailand. They're everywhere, right? And the first shop opened in Patong in Bangkok. Interesting, isn't it? Because that was in 1989. Patong is very much a tourist area. And was it that they launched originally just to cater for tourists in tourist areas? There's certainly more of a proliferation of 7-Elevens in tourist areas, but anybody that knows, they've been maybe to their girlfriend's or wife's house or whatever, when they go out and about from Pattaya, Bangkok, they're everywhere. They're on motorways, they're in most sort of towns, even in small villages now you'll find them. 16,000 7-Elevens now in Thailand and growing. Another fact about 7-Elevens is that they all have a number. So if you need to identify a branch, rather than giving an address, say, I don't know, you go to the police or something, no, tell them the address, you know, always the one on Job Judge Road, give them the number. This one is 08954, and so on and so forth. Actually, in some cases, you can put the number into Google Maps and it will throw up that 7-Eleven. When you go inside a 7-Eleven, generally the first thing you hit is things that have got quite a high markup, things like toiletries and stuff like that. The things that you really want, the cold drinks, the alcohol, and the salty snacks, are all to the back of the shop usually. You have to walk in a lot, and obviously that's a sales technique because, you know, they want you to walk into the shop. I suppose maybe the high-value items are put near to the checkout so that the staff can monitor those and see that there's no theft going on. Here is the next 7-Eleven. Now, worryingly, I said there was 16,000 or 17,000 7-Elevens. This is number 19150, so maybe they closed some before they opened this one. But hey, literally, I talked for 1 minute and I've hit another 7-Eleven. And guess what? The third one is just over there. This 7-Eleven is the newest one to open, and so you would expect the number to be high, but it goes 23,393. I'm not sure. I must have my numbers wrong because I was told there was only 16,007, so maybe there's a lot more. I don't know, but this is the newest one, so you'd expect it to have the highest number. Let's talk a little bit about the staff here at 7-Elevens. First of all, to become a member of staff of this 7-Eleven, you do have to have some kind of, you have to complete your schooling up to the age of 18. You don't need a diploma or business or studies or anything like that. You don't need to go to university, but you do need the certification to prove that you have been at school until the age of 18. So a lot of guys who say to their girlfriend that they maybe meet in a bar or whatever, well, why don't you just go work in a 7-Eleven? One of the reasons is because they probably left school earlier and haven't got those qualifications to say that they completed school up to the age of 18. And here's a thing that might interest you, right? I used to have a girlfriend who I met in a go-go bar, and she did have qualifications and she went to work, not at 7-Eleven, but at Family Mart, right? And she told me that she got hit on and got given phone numbers far more working in the Family Mart than she ever did in the go-go bar. In fact, she used to joke to me, I wish they had lady drinks in the Family Mart because I could make more. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll put my girlfriend in a 7-Eleven, or, you know, maybe she's got the qualifications, you know, she'll be safe there. Watch out, because everyone tends to hit on girls. They have some very attractive staff, it has to be said. What about the salary in a 7-Eleven? It's difficult to find out because there are obviously different regions of Thailand that pay better. Bangkok will pay better than other areas, for example. But generally, the staff, you know, just the general staff, if they're full-time, I mean, I have written this down, they'll be earning about 12 to 14,000 baht per month. A lot of people tell me that there is no overtime in 7-Elevens, but I haven't actually seen anything that proves that. There are a lot of part-time workers in 7-Eleven as well, so not every shop assistant that you see, it's their full-time job. They might have another gig, or they might actually be going to university or whatever during the daytime or whatever. A supervisor, or pool chui, as they're called. Pool chui. Pool means like adult, chui to help. So pool chui, they earn between 14 and 18,000 baht per month. And then the manager, well, the manager's a tricky one because sometimes the manager can actually be a part owner. Like, this is their store. And in that case, you know, they get a huge bonus. It's obviously their business. They are kind of a franchisee, although CP don't like it being called a franchise, they like it being called business partner. So sometimes the manager is a business partner, but salaries of around 30,000 baht per month I've seen advertised, and then of course the manager will be on incentives to make the sales better. Should we go to the next 7-Eleven? I wonder where it is. Oh, it's just over there. A couple of things I wanted to tell you about staff at 7-Eleven. First of all, a lot of the new staff are recruited internally by CP, and they actually all live, when they first come to somewhere like Pattaya, they all live together. So they have boardings and lodgings that are paid for by CP, and also they train together. And the training centre used to be in Naglua. There was a shop at 7-Eleven at Naglua, and behind it was kind of a training centre. And they used to put students through, you know, a morning's training, and then in the afternoon they all used to go into that one shop and put their training into practice. And it was funny because you used to go to that 7-Eleven and literally there would be like 30 employees there that were, trying to serve you. You can always tell the new staff because they'll have a handwritten badge. It'll be quite a big badge that they're wearing on their shirt. And be kind to them, you know. A lot of them don't speak English very well. And so, you know, they're a little bit scared. They're serving customers, Westerners, maybe talking to Westerners for the first time. So they're a little bit scared. So if you ever do see a member of staff with those big badges on, they're training, they're new, give them a little slack. Well, I owe you an apology. I said he was just over there. I've been walking for at least 2 minutes and not hit a 7-Eleven yet. Come on, CP, there's obviously an opportunity in the market here. Here is the next one, here on 7th Street. This is reasonably new as well, and I'm going to do something in this 7-Eleven that I only did once before and didn't really enjoy. Here it is, you can tell 23131 is the number of this one. I've got to get some money because I'm going to buy something from this one. Yeah, I'm going to buy something. Is people telling me when you go, oh, come to Thailand, you've got to have a 7-Eleven cheese toastie, they're so nice. Right, they're just not for me, right? I agree with my friend Andrew about pizza, right? It reminds me of pizza, and pizza is just glorified cheese on toast. And this is literally cheese on toast, and it's just not my favourite. But also, right, I just think the staff don't like making these cheese toasties. They're very, very labour intensive. They have to open the packet, put it in the toaster thing, and then they have to wait, and then they have to use these tongs to put it in a little bag. And every time you order a cheese toastie or whatever, just look at the staff, look at the face of the staff. If there's a busy 7-Eleven, and at night time 7-Elevens can get very busy, it's really labour intensive. They just can't be bothered. They just don't want to do it. So for that reason, and also the fact that it forms a long queue behind you because the member of staff is preparing your food. For that reason, and also the fact that they just taste horrible, I don't really like them. But hey, let's try this one. So if the fact that you have to wait ages for them to prepare it doesn't put you off, and the fact that all the customers hate you because they're making the queue longer. Here it is. I don't know. It's just not for me. Anyway, there are foods in 7-Eleven that I really, really like. This curry that they sell, it's like based on a Indian curry from the UK. It's very, very tomatoey. But I tell you what, it really hits a spot. It's really, really nice. And far better than the cheese toastie. In fact, I think I'm going to file this cheese toastie. There you go. See you later. Just en route to my next 7-Eleven, which is, 1 minute walk away down here. One thing I will say that 7-Eleven do really well over the last few years is the desserts, what I would call the desserts, the sweets. They do some really good cakes. They do some really nice like chocolate mousse and cheesecake and stuff like that. And it's as good, really, the texture. They've got the texture right, finally. It's as good as anything that you'll get in a kind of a high-end cake shop. So it's worth digging in. The one thing that I do notice, though, about a lot of 7-Elevens compared to shopping in the West is that the packaging is very, very wasteful. They like to display things very nicely. Don't forget what I've told you about Thailand. 90% presentation, 10% content. And so a lot of them have an awful lot of plastic packaging, which if you're concerned about things like that is something that you don't really want to see. Right, 7 Alley, 7th Street, just 2 7-Elevens to go. So I'm at the penultimate 7-Eleven, the last but one, and this one's quite old, as you can see. 09598 is the number of this one. It's pretty old, and it's a bit run down and everything, and it's quite small as well. But you can tell the age of the 7-Elevens by the number now, so you can do a little 7-Eleven bingo maybe. One of the things I wanted to say about 7s, it's not just what's inside the 7s, but what's outside as well. They usually have food stalls that are selling street food outside 7s, and the CP Corporation rents those out. This noodle store here outside this 7 is one that I used to go to all the time. Just the amazing khao mu dang, rice with red pork, and it does a great soup with red pork as well, and it is absolutely delicious. So you can, maybe spend the whole time that you're in Thailand eating at the 7-Elevens, inside or outside. Our journey ends on 7th Street, and this 7-Eleven, it's quite old. It's in the middle, really. 11,307. So the final thing I wanted to tell you about 7-Elevens is this. If you are a tourist coming to Thailand, there are 2 mobile networks. There's the AIS network, sometimes called One to Call, and then there's the True network, right? If you're not bothered about either one, or you're getting the same sort of package on a SIM card at the airport maybe, or you're going to Tuk Combine, right? You can buy SIM cards inside 7-Eleven, but again, it's a very, very labour-intensive thing. To buy a SIM card is quite complicated here in Thailand because you have to prove your identity, so you have to have your passport, or if you're a Thai person, your ID. But if you're not bothered about either network, choose True, because if you choose True, every 7-Eleven has Wi-Fi, and that Wi-Fi is on the True network, and your SIM card means that you can get free Wi-Fi, and the free Wi-Fi most of the time is just around the area of the 7, but it's really, really strong, right? And it's quick, and you have to go through a registration process the first time that you log in, but after that you can go to every 7-Eleven and your phone automatically will log into that Wi-Fi. And so if you have to do something that's quite download intensive, you don't want to use your data, you can do that. If you've got bad reception somewhere and you want to, I don't know, do call home or something like that, you can do it on the Wi-Fi here. You can download movies. You can do anything you want. I used to come here, because I didn't have Wi-Fi at home, I used to come here and upload my YouTube videos here at this 7-Eleven on the Wi-Fi here. So that's something bearing in mind. If you're a creator and you want to upload stuff, it's very quick upload speeds. Get a true SIM, and then you'll be able to use the free Wi-Fi at every 7-Eleven, at every location. So that's it from me, Mr. Egg. We have done 7th Street. 7-Elevens have taken over Thailand. Have you got any comments? Anything you want to say? Do you like cheese toasties? Are you unsubscribing because of my anti-cheese toasty rant? Let me know. There is a members area of the channel if you want to join from just £2 a month. But from me, Mr. Egg, here at 7-Eleven, one of many. See you next week. Bye.